How to Secretly Lure My Boy's Heart by Mame. Prologue. I'm dreaming. Sure, I'm dreaming. It was mid-morning. Rays of the sun sparkled through the leaves. Little birds were singing, finding their food. On the second floor of a house, in the bedroom of the youngest son of this family, a tall guy lying on his back in the bed, his eyes tightly closed as if he was in a deep sleep if it wasn't for his look-like used tissue paper wrinkled face. It was as if he had had a bad dream, but KlaNo could say that having a nightmare was better than facing reality. What's the reality? Nothing. I'm just dreaming. Yes, I'm dreaming. His repeating thoughts kept echoing in his head until his face relaxed. The smile appeared when his brain told him that what just happened was only a weird imagination, plus he was drunk. It's just a dream. KlaNo slowly smiled and opened his eyes to the reality that it was only a dream, but... KlaNo, are you up? Shock. KlaNo was startled as if someone hit the brake when the first thing he saw wasn't the ceiling of his room, but a handsome face of a guy with a cuspid. Ah! The former captain of his university football team let out a scream as if he saw a ghost, but couldn't run away. Ouch! My ass! That was right. The pain from the small crack on the back was sent through his backbone and spread all over his body. KlaNo got used to the pain from injuries, but not the pain from his butt crack. You better not move. Let me help you. Startled. No. I can get up by myself. KlaNo turned pale and trembled when his junior came closer, trying to help him sit up. KlaNo pushed both hands against the bed, trying to move to another side while looking at a friend of his brother suspiciously. This guy was KlaNo, his brother's best friend. The startled look of KlaNo made KlaNo look down. Do you hate me now? What? I'm the one who's supposed to cry, not you. It was like KlaNo's eyes would fall out when KlaNo lowered his head and his shoulders as if he was about to cry. KlaNo suddenly felt guilty. You molested me first. I didn't molest you. Did you hear me? I didn't. KlaNo screamed inside because now his mouth was paralyzed. He couldn't say a word, but only opened and closed his mouth. He looked at his brother's best friend, thinking what had happened was unbelievable. He said I molested him. Yes, we had sex last night. Sex that KlaNo couldn't even remember. The only thing that this tall guy with an average look, average talent, average attitude, or just said with nothing outstanding, could remember was he hung out and had some drinks with his university friends. Then his best friend sent him home. After that, everything was blurred. It seemed he went to the wrong room, which was his brother's room. Then he woke up like this. He was naked with a handsome guy who was named the Prince of the Faculty of Pharmacy from a top-ranked university next to him. The handsome guy said he molested him, and that handsome guy said he had to be his boyfriend. God, are you kidding me? KlaNo, still confused, shook his head to get a hold of himself, but it made the person who was looking feel so bad. I make you feel upset, right? Maybe you don't want to see me again? Hey, no, not like that. KlaNo, who couldn't find his word, was now shouting and shaking his head as the guilt hit him when his junior lowered his head as if he was hiding his tears. For him, KlaNo was a junior he liked. Besides being his brother's best friend who came to his place so often, the younger was courteous. Wherever KlaNo met him, he always said hi. This guy was generous and also cared for others. KlaNo also had to admit that KlaNo was very good looking. KlaNo was a tall guy, but KlaNo, who was tall too, had to admit that his junior was well built. KlaNo wasn't as thin as KlaNo, he was muscular. He looked gorgeous in his university uniform because of his squared shoulders, his well-shaped body, and his long legs. This didn't include his bright face, his sharp eyes, and his thin lips with a smile that would show his cuspid on the left corner side of his mouth. All of the above made everyone admire and jealous at the same time. Then, when this guy was about to cry because of him, Techno got flustered. I don't mean that I don't want to see you. I really don't. Hey, don't cry. Be a man. Techno unintentionally came closer to KlaNo and was about to give a pat on his shoulder like he did to encourage those juniors on his team, but grab. So you won't avoid me, right? Startle. Techno startled when his wrist was grabbed, and that handsome face came closer. KlaNo still had a sad face, but Techno didn't know why he thought those eyes were dangerous. The blazing eyes were looking right at prey, and the prey wasn't anybody but Techno. I won't. The host could only nod and look at the younger, who was smiling. You won't hate me, will you? No, I won't. You will never run away from me, will you? I won't. Techno nodded reluctantly. His eyes were on a slowly brighter smile. I didn't make him cry. As a person who always made everyone smile and laugh, Techno was relieved that he didn't make the handsome prince of the faculty cry. If he did that, all the girls would kill him for sure. But he couldn't be happy for so long. KlaNo said softly, "But we had sex." Kla, I think we should talk about this, Techno told himself. He thought his junior was smart. Even though they just had sex, they are both guys, so having a few one-night stands wasn't a big deal. They just had to let it go and shouldn't keep any record about it. Moreover, the good-looking guy like KlaNo shouldn't be interested in him. Are you going to leave me? KlaNo's smile suddenly vanished, and his voice was quivering. It was as if he was about to cry when he said, "It's my first time." Eh? Techno shouted loudly and looked at the face and body of the younger, who said he had never had sex before. Techno had to admit that he was happy that even his face was so he was a virgin like this good-looking guy. See, it's not always true that every guy loses his virginity before 18. Techno thought and felt a little bit proud, but it was only a second. It was my first time, but I slept with a guy, and the thing is, I can't be straight anymore. Grab. Techno. Techno couldn't catch his breath yet, when the junior in front of him grabbed both his hands and moved his face closer. Those burning eyes were shining and earnest when he said, "Last night, I fell in love with you." What? At this moment, if you look at Techno's face, you could say that he was frightened. I never knew that sleeping with a guy would be this good. It was perfect, and you were so lovely. I still remember your kiss. I remember what you said. I remember what you asked for. I remember that you were on top of me, and I also remember that you wrote smack. No, Techno wasn't so embarrassed that he slapped KlaNo's face. In fact, he used both hands to close the younger's mouth tightly. His eyes seemed to bulge out as if he was dying when KlaNo told him the truth. I make him fall for me? What the heck? I think that you have to take responsibility because you molested me first. KlaNo yanked Techno's hands off his mouth and claimed explicitly before the older could say anything. Techno was pale and nervous. His hands were shaky while looking at his junior, who intended to make him. So, please be my boyfriend. Boyfriend. That one word shocked Techno, but he could do nothing even when his junior hugged him tightly and gently put his head on his shoulder. KlaNo affirmed, I promise that I will be a good boyfriend and you'll be the only one for me. Techno really wanted to challenge if the other one even cared what he needed. But he couldn't ask or say anything. He was all out of his energy. It was like his soul left his body through his mouth. Collapse. The mind of this tall guy couldn't face reality, so now he fainted. It was as if his soul was gone. His body fell down when the younger tried to hug him tightly. KlaNo repeatedly called KlaNo's name anxiously, in contrast with the devil's smile on his face. KlaNo, KlaNo, you're fine here. I promise I will take care of you. The deep and soft voice could not penetrate the unconscious body at all. There was only one sentence that stuck in his head. I'm about to have a boyfriend. Boyfriend? It was as if saliva or foam coming from KlaNo's mouth, and he wanted to be unconscious to escape from truth, not to mention the guy who was smiling. You don't answer, so I assume you're okay with that? KlaNo concluded while caressing KlaNo's cheek gently. It was not as smooth as others, but KlaNo could tell that he loved it. When he was sure that KlaNo, his recent boyfriend, with no choice, was unconscious again, he snickered and looked at KlaNo confidently. You can't get rid of me. Even if I have to be deceitful, shameless, or tell a lie, I will make you my wife. 3 years of knowing each other, KlaNo could say that there was no time for observation anymore. KlaNo had been following his friend's brother for 3 years. He knew and understood almost everything about KlaNo. KlaNo was confident that he knew KlaNo in all his dimensions. So there was no way that KlaNo could get away. KlaNo was soft-hearted, so if KlaNo just pretended that he was sad or lied or talked about responsibility, and he would have KlaNo in the palm of his hand. So it's time to act. Everything was prepared, so it was time to take action. It was time for hunting, and the prey was KlaNo. Hey guys, so if this prologue of KlaNo and KlaNo's story gets 30 likes, I will start recording the entire book. It's from the official translation of Mame's book. If you have any suggestions for books you would like me to read, then leave a comment and I will look into it. I prefer books with official translations. Usually the bad translated ones or the unfinished ones are too bad of a quality. So leave your suggestions either way and I'll look at it. Thanks for the support, and I truly, really appreciate everything. It's been amazing. Thank you guys.